We're off. It is 9:01 a.m. U.S. Pacific Daylight Time, Tuesday, May 16th, 2023 A.D. I don't have a funny clip to play for you guys immediately, but I will play some interesting clips. A couple of them one of them in particular is disgusting, but I censored it properly. Going to talk about this 5th grade teacher who pushed sorry kids, ladies, males, environmentalist Disney movie on kids in Florida. Did you know Florida had, that so-called Don't Say Gay bill? They expanded it. It's not just under 4th grade. It's all the way through high school. Nice. Have some great Chinese music to play for you. We have, I think of Joel Friday because I know that he has seen Andy Lau in person. Andy Lau. I'm going to be playing Andy Lau for you guys. It's AAPI month, everybody. And there's an AAPI muppet. Did you know that? In Sesame Street, speaking of degenerate child propaganda. Not that there's anything degenerate necessarily about a Filipino puppet thing. But anyway, they're the demon rats, the Democrats, the diversity people. They're for killing the babies, abortion. Unborn babies, that is. Sometimes born. Weight discrimination. That's the funny clip, kind of to me. Shout out to the fat people. There's a fat activist who got the New York City to ban height and weight discrimination. What? Ridiculous. And speaking of height, Brittney Griner, our queen, Brittney Griner. That's a new word for her. I've never referred to her as our queen. Brittney Griner, the WNBA superstar, as if there's any such thing as a superstar affiliated with a WNBA. Anybody even heard of that? She's only famous because she got captured and went to Russia, loaded up with drugs, with trace amounts of pot vape juice. And now she didn't used to like the National Anthem because she was a Black Lives Matter agitator. She's like, we shouldn't even play it. And now she says it hits different. Isn't that nice? And I have other things, in church with JLP, we talked about names. Well, my middle name is Anton. Anton. It's not Anton. It's not Anton, and it's not Antoine. I'll tell you about it and show you my namesake. It's not black. And maybe I'll talk about Trump and CNN mess if I have time. And, of course, your calls. But anyway, guys, let's get right on with the show!
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Hey guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
So, how you guys doing? I am fine. I'm a little bit lightheaded because I feel like I might have strained myself. Maybe I shouldn't do that from screaming with the show or something like that. And hey, guys. So, anyway, having a fun, loosey-goosey Tuesday show. I am wearing my You Are a Beta Male t-shirt. It's from the J.C. Lee Peterson Society 6 store, I do believe. Let me prove it. Let me look it up on the internet. rebuildingtheman.com/stores. And I go to JLP Tees Society 6. And we'll see. Is it here? I think it is. There's awesome designs, too. There's All Thoughts Are All Lies All the Time t-shirt design. Big Mama. Not all, but most. The Great White Hope. And You Are a Beta Male, indeed it is there. Don't give me these coupons. I'm looking on the... No thanks. Where's the X? Okay, yeah. And it is indeed available. I'm hesitant because to me it looks a little low and small, but I don't know. I'll have to ask our curator, our Society 6 web store curator about the design there, just to make sure that it's all good. All good. That's a black way to say it. Shout out to the blacks. But it's not Black Month, it's AAPI month. Let me get to Justin before I get into these stories. In Fullerton, California, who has an interesting question or comment, I think. Justin in Fullerton, California, how you doing, man?
Hey, good morning. I'm doing exceptionally well.
Nice.
How are you?
Doing fine, thank you.
All right. Well, no, I was just having a quiet time, and I was meditating on just one commandment a day and seeing what it meant for me. And I felt like I know that now the reason we should is because it's the only commandment in the Bible in which God provides us a reason. And so I could read the whole scripture, but it appears that if we do, the land in which we live, we will prosper. And furthermore, it says that we should love one another like ourselves. So without being able to love ourselves, we can't honor our mother or our father the way that we're intended to. We must love ourselves to be able to prosper and to fulfill the scripture.
We must love who to prosper and fulfill the scripture? The parents?
In order to honor the parent, no, we would have to love ourselves. Because if you read the full scripture, it says that we are to love our neighbor as ourselves.
Oh, okay.
It's like a epiphany, very simple.
I don't know,
but
man.
If you grew up with a bad parent, you may not want to honor them or love. If you say, "I can't love someone like that," but if you say that, that's just saying you have no love to give, which is true. But you need to begin by loving your neighbor exactly the way you love yourself. And you can't love your neighbor unless you love yourself. Therefore, we can't even honor the commandment, which is to honor our mother and father, which is to talk. We've had Mother's Day. There's a lot of people that celebrate different, but we talk different to our mothers and our fathers than anyone else in the world. We treat them differently.
Are you saying you have to love yourself first?
Yes.
What do you mean? What's that mean?
For instance, if you're my neighbor and I go, I want a soda, and we're having a barbecue and everybody's invited, I should not just go for a soda for myself first. I know James wants to have a Dr. Pepper or a Coca-Cola, so I give you one.
No. What does it mean to love yourself? What do you mean by that?
Oh, I'm sorry. So when one loves himself, it's based on what the Bible says, and the only thing that pops into my mind, I guess, is just the scripture about laying down your life for your brother. No greater love is that. So Jesus, he bore the cross, and he made his sacrifice for us.
So you love yourself by laying down your life for your brother? That's how you love yourself?
Yes. Yes. If I was going to love myself and get a soda, no.
You're cutting out there, man. You're cutting out.
Oh, sorry. I have a bad reception.
Bad
phone, too.
But you didn't explain what loving yourself is.
Well, I would love myself if I was thirsty and I gave myself something to drink. So if I was to love you like myself, I would give you something to drink, just like myself.
Oh, okay.
Therefore,
so you're not saying that you should love yourself first, before that and then that way you can
love others unless you love yourself first, is what I was saying earlier. Yeah.
And what does it mean to love yourself first?
Well, if God says to keep, for instance, like yourself pure,
or
righteous, right relationship with Him. What business does light have with darkness? It drives out darkness. So, yeah, one should be resolved to be pure.
That's a way that you love yourself?
Yes, and not be contaminated by the world and its lack of love, the lack of ability to to forgive their mother or father is because they don't honor their mother and father. And that is one of the commandments. The only commandment that God gave a reason in which we should do it.
Yeah.
In our land, we will prosper. Our whole
I don't know
country
if
would prosper.
that may be the only one with immediate reason, but I think he said after he gave all those commands, he said that it may go well with you. Your life will go well. Something like that. I don't know, man. I think a lot of times people get caught up in the love yourself phrase more than it's meant to be caught up with. Because the Bible doesn't say anything about loving yourself at all. Other than love your neighbor as yourself, but it doesn't say love yourself.
There's no way for one to love their mothers or fathers unless they honor them. And so that all begins with taking care of yourself.
All right. Yeah, I suppose.
You can't forgive someone else. You can't give something that you don't already have. But to forgive and to give love, you must have it. And God is love.
Oh, okay. Nice.
So if we want to be able to love ourselves and God says to do this, that, or the other, it really means it. We can't just say, oh, we've done all 9, but the last one I cannot do.
The last one what?
The last commandment, we can't say, I can do all 9, but the 5th commandment I cannot do. I can't honor my mother and father. Well, there's a solution right there. God gives a reason to do it.
Right. You do all
Not
the
just
commandments?
telling you to do it. What?
You do all the commandments?
I do not.
Oh, what are you preaching all this for?
I have no receipts to say that I would fulfill.
So this
10
is just
commandments.
something that you kind of figured out.
Yes, on my quiet time this morning, I figured out the commandment, the 5th commandment today. Yes, and I called in to share it.
Oh.
Yeah.
You think it's wise to call in and share it?
Immediately, yes, without any kind of forethought. Yeah, I think it's so much better, than to wait on it. I like to share the good news.
Is it not better to keep it and live it first?
Maybe better than just sharing it. Yeah. Well, that's my.
Because when you share it, then it gets away from you sometimes. I feel like Joel Friday. I don't know if you catch Joel Friday TV. He might have said something to this effect.
Joel? Oh, I saw him when he filled in for you when you weren't feeling well.
Oh, he has his own show on every Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
Right after Hake.
Well, I'm off every Monday, Tuesday. I'll check it out now. Okay, great.
Yeah, so at night at 11 a.m. or roughly 11 a.m. he's live.
Amazing. I'll check it out. Thanks for sharing that. He seems very close to God. So I like when you filled in for your show.
Cool, man. Well, I appreciate it, Justin, in Fullerton, California, man.
Yes, sir.
Are you the one who's pro pot?
Pro. Yeah. I would not say I'm anti. No, I wouldn't say that.
Is it loving yourself to smoke pot?
For some people, yes, and for others, no.
I got a text that says honor your parents means forgive and don't hate.
Yes, to forgive and to give something other than hatred is to give love and something that you have to have in order to give.
And you have that?
You just demonstrated that. I do.
Oh, okay. Well, nice, man. Appreciate you, Justin.
I don't have all 10 commandments all the time, but I do have that. Well, have a good day.
You working? You have a job?
I have not a 9 to 5. I have a 9 to 6. Monday. Now I have Wednesday through Saturday.
And you think you can love yourself?
Yes, I think I can.
Okay. I hear that you can't. That's what I heard.
I cannot?
Yep. Yeah, this is Oprah-type talk about loving you have to love yourself first. I think you're getting in your head about that.
Really? Okay. So keep me in your prayers that I can have clarity of thought and not be clouded up with, supercilious thoughts.
Nice. Take care, man.
Take care. Oh, and hey, next time I call, I'm going to have a poem I'm going to share with everyone that I wrote for everyone.
Oh, no. A poem?
A spoken word poem. Yeah, I do open mic sometimes, so I like to share it sometimes.
I'll be sure to have my spittoon ready and the drop button handy. I'm not into spoken word and poem. The only poetry I like is rhythm and poetry by Stephen Wiley for Black History Month. Anyway.
Stephen Wiley, all right. I'll check
Stephen
it out.
Wiley, he's rated highly. Check him out. The original Christian rapper.
Okay, I'll check him out.
Nice. Thanks, man. Take care.
Okay.
All right. Bye. Fifth grade teacher pushed not morally straight. I don't want to use the word gay too much. Environmentalist Disney movie on kids. I saw this on Twitter, and I'm saying it as expressively as I can to be like outraged and disgusted, right? This is clip 11A, clip 11A, B, and C we're going to be playing. Clip 11, guys, hey. And it's not even 9:30 yet here in L.A. Commie Nonsense Network tweeted, a Florida teacher under investigation for showing a Disney movie with a gay teacher, so-called gay character. Oh, and she says it with all this, it's the female reporter telling this story, and she says it all with all this vocal fry, acting like it's no big deal and acting like it's so normal and nice and good. He's like, who's gay? I didn't even say it right. It's terrible. And says she didn't know the LGBTQ restriction over in Florida, you know, the Don't Say Gay bill. The protect children from this radical homosexual and LGBTIQ propaganda pushed down their throats, violating their innocence, brainwashing them to be all accepting of them and then rejecting of Christians and normal thinking values. She didn't know it applied to her fifth grade class. Yeah, neither did I. I thought it was only fourth grade and younger or under the fourth grade, like third graders and younger. So here's the 1 minute censored clip, and it shows a warning, parental guidance warning. Cover your ears and eyes and mouths, kids and ladies and gentlemen. This has an excerpt from that movie. Commie Nonsense shared it, and I'm going to share it with you, but I censor it a little bit. I may censor it more than it needs to be censored. But I'm censoring it to make a point because it's gross, it's vulgar. And so, kids, leave the room. Here's clip 11A. Hit it.
A Florida teacher is now under investigation for showing this animated Disney movie that you see here to her fifth grade class. Jenna Barbie played the movie Strange World, which is about a family of explorers and also features a character that is gay.
Any sweets waiting for you back home, huh? There it is. Who is it?
It's no one. Diaz. His name is Diaz.
Diaz, huh?
I really like him a lot. I just don't know how to tell him.
Shannon Rodriguez, the parent and school board member who reported Barbie for showing her class this movie, says that the movie was shown without approval.
It is not a teacher's job to impose their beliefs upon a child.
That's
religious, sexual orientation, gender identity, any of the above. But allowing movies such as this assist teachers in opening a door, and please hear me, they assist teachers in opening a door for conversations that have no place in our classrooms.
Nice. That's right, lady. Although I do find it a little bit cringy when these women get all activisty. But she's a mother at this school, and she's also according to this report, she's also on the school board. What are these mothers doing on the school board? Shout out to the mothers and females on the school board. But I disavow it. I'm not for especially when they're all, this is like a nagging voice. But she's right about what she's saying. Except that it's not sexual orientation. Sorry, kids, ladies, gentlemen. It's sexual disorientation. It's not gender identity. It's gender misidentity. Misidentified, you know? Terrible. Ugh. Comedy Nonsense shares the article, Florida teacher under investigation for showing the Disney movie. Oh, I actually have the clip. Clip 11B. Here's the Comedy Nonsense female reporters, because they got rid of Don Lemon. Bring back Don I don't know if I should say that. They interview the teacher, and they talk about how the states or the school board or something is put out a statement. Here's the little clip of, and they're interviewing this teacher, of course, because they promote the radical homosexual propaganda. This Comedy Nonsense Network does. Here it is.
The school district confirms to CNN the state is investigating Barbie, and this statement was sent home to parents. Quote, while not the main plot of the movie, parts of the story involve a male character having an expressed feeling for another male character. In the future, this movie will not be shown. So we're joined this morning by that fifth grade teacher, Jenna Barbie. Jenna, good morning, and thanks so much for being with us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. The biggest elements of this movie are about the earth and taking care of it and how it's alive. And I'm all about that. I'm a huge person that is an advocate for cleaning up and taking care of the earth every day. So
the earth.
And that was our segment in science at the time, was ecosystems and how they interact. It's just a mess. This was not even a topic that my students even noticed or cared about, because it's already an accepted topic in the classroom. Just like how Ms. Rodriguez said, those doors are open. Those doors are not something that's new in this public education system. The students have one-to-one devices. They're able to have access to all this information already. So this is a common theme that is talked about already. So it was not thought anything of until it got brought this much light and this much attention. And now it's definitely a conversation. So if anyone opened the door, Mrs. Rodriguez.
Good. I like how Mrs. Rodriguez is the woman who said that they shouldn't be promoting this agenda. She opened the door for the truth to come in, because she's right. This teacher is right. This Barbie teacher, Jenna Barbie, B-A-R-B-E-E, something like that. Mildly attractive. She's right. This young people are inundated. Is that a nice word? They're just awash in all this LGBTIQ propaganda. Sick. It's just like they're in an ocean of it everywhere, except for maybe in the home. Except directly from their parents, unless their parents are that degenerate that they're pushing that on the kids. But the social media, all the TV stuff, even the kids' shows. Look, that was a children's movie that I played a part of it. So, yeah, if you were just trying to protect them from that in the schools, yeah, it's nice to protect them from that in the schools, but it's everywhere else already. And each other are already talking about it, that degeneracy. And so I kind of like that, as long as she's not overreacting to it, to the evil, I like how it's showing that, no, it's not right. But I don't know, because this woman's kind of naggy, sort of a nagger voice. Do you like naggers? Shout out to the naggers. People who annoy you. Not mildly attractive, says Willie Powell. I don't know. I don't know. But I have a feeling that it's going to be worse. It's only going to do worse because it's going to show the kids a woman overreacting to evil, and then they'll just kind of roll their eyes at it. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? Hassan says, not the N-word. Yeah. And I have a little story about my fifth grade teacher. My fifth grade teacher was not like this fifth grade teacher. Of course, that was, 30 years ago? almost a little bit more than 30 years ago. Here's the teacher continues. Her real agenda comes out. She pushes this diversity stuff, and she complains about based, and I use the term loosely, Ron DeSantis. Here's clip C. 1 more minute of her talking. Mildly attractive. Look at her.
Now it's something that has to be constantly shut down because now it's a common conversation. It's something that students are continuing to want to talk about and ask more questions about and ask me, why is this such a big deal? Because to us, we just saw it. It's not even a theme of the movie. It's an element. And
Gross.
The students didn't think anything of it. I didn't think anything of it. And now it's like, whoa, Miss Barbie, you're in so much trouble because of this. Why is it so wrong? Why is it so wrong? And like, how do I answer that? So I just have to say, oh, go ask your parents. Oh, go ask your parents. But that's what we're making them think, that this is so wrong that their teacher is under fire for it.
Nice.
That same school board member is currently going around right now trying to, well, along with, the whole, what DeSantis is doing, trying to get rid of all basically diversity elements out of schools completely. Like, they're trying to strip individuality and diversity to fit one common agenda. And it's ruining everything. It's not what America stands for.
Shut up, woman. I mean, sorry, kids. Don't say shut up too much. So mildly attractive, says Kevin Howe. Attractive in a snooky way, whoever that is. What is that? Is that Jersey Shore? Snooky? It is. I never saw it. I was too busy going to college. You guys go to college? I was too busy working, maybe. I don't know if I was working or going to college, but anyway. And by the way, I didn't have cable TV. I wasn't spoiled in that way as a kid. Get rid of all the diversity elements. Get rid of individuality. And what? By pushing this, the cat's out of the bag. I didn't think anything of it. See this blind young lady, brainwashed, I may be using the term loosely. This teacher, 5th grade teacher, didn't think anything of it. Didn't think anything of it? That's shocking that the dude is talking about a he. His name is Dionzo or whatever. Diago, something like that. I bleeped it. Diago. Hey, blip. His name was blah, blah, blah. Get rid of diversity elements. So she has an agenda. And the diversity people are the ones who don't allow people to be different. Look at all the diversity people calling into my show wanting to shut me down, trying to get me doxxed, trying to attack JLP. Those diversity people are nasty. But we don't be nasty back. We don't be hateful back. We're not supposed to be hateful back. And so I have a feeling that this woman who's leading this fight, this Jennifer Rodriguez, was that what her name was? Let's see. School district board member, Shannon Rodriguez. Come on, ladies, you don't know how to fight right. And the males don't either. I've been watching X-Files, the early seasons. It's an old TV show from the 90s. And this guy, Fox Mulder, not a Christian, I don't think. He doesn't seem very Christian, this David Duchovny guy. But he is supposedly always cool-headed. But then sometimes they portray him as mad, and it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit him. No, I'm shaking my head. And that's how it is with these ladies and these males who are all mad at the evil. Disgusting. Yeah, so I didn't know Base Florida updated their law to include all grades all the way through high school. I use the term base loosely, you know. Legislation was first passed in March 2022 of this Florida teacher's under the state investigation, right? For showing the Disney movie featuring a gay character that she said she wasn't aware of the state's controversial, meaning like inching towards reasonable. That's what they mean by controversial. Anytime they say the liberal media calls something controversial, I've explained this many times. It means it's in the direction of what's right, of what's reasonable. It's not even, doesn't nearly go far enough, right? Law banning instruction about certain LGBTQ topics. And by the way, I think race agenda, anti-white stuff, right? had been recently expanded to apply to her grade level. Legislation first passed March 2022. They called it the Don't Say Gay bill. No, say the First Amendment. Read about it. Initially applied through kindergarten through third grade. And we're like, that's not far enough. Well, last month, Florida's State Education Board voted to expand the law's scope to include all grades through high school. Nice. Yeah. Why are you pushing that agenda? Why are you pushing that propaganda, that false religion of LGBTIQ, save the earth? That's right. This was an environmentalist movie. And environmentalists are just like the women who try to fight evil with their anger and their self-righteousness. They don't save the earth right. You know what I mean, Jellybean? EPA. Didn't the EPA like turn a river orange with their chemicals? They do all kinds of wrong stuff. The National Forest Service over the past 100 years, they didn't let enough burning happen, natural burning and forest fires, so the forest fires are going crazy. So they don't do stuff right. That's the government for you. That's the woman nature for you. Shout out to the women. And by the way, I think these laws may be a little bit misguided, even though they're trying to do the right thing, too. Because look at these laws. All these so-called base Republicans, they don't point out the attack on whites, really. A little bit, maybe. But they still believe in the fake racism thing. And then they have accepted the gays being all shameless and out of the closet and pretending like they're right. They've pretended like there's nothing wrong with it. And there is something wrong with it. And it's not right. But now, there's these based Republicans. They're going after the transgender sports. Ooh, protect women. How not morally straight do these Republicans can't have to be that they don't fight right? Lame. I'm spending too long. Yeah, so that's Disney. Gross. I guess that's it. That's that for that. Oh, I forgot to tell my story about my teacher. 5th grade. I remember my 5th grade teacher didn't even like the word homo, like homosexual. She was explaining the prefix homo means same. So homo sapiens means same, whatever. That's our, whatever. It's a Latin or something like that, right? She was explaining that to us. We were in 5th grade, as I recall. And then the students, of course, one of them is like, oh, like homosexual. And she's like, that's a made-up word to indicate something perverted, wrong. Wow. People would be scandalized to hear a teacher talk like that about somebody's identity. It's not your identity. Trump accepted the gays. Yeah, I know. I agree with that. I mean, I agree with you. He's wrong for that. That was around 1991. I was in 5th grade, 10 years old or so. And I remember it stuck out of my head that and all the way through high school, normal people weren't accepting this LGBTIQ stuff. Only the most liberal were starting to in high school talk about homophobia stuff, dumb stuff like that in the late 90s. Based Christian teacher. Yeah, I didn't even know. Should I dox her? I don't even know if she's still alive. She was relatively fit. She seemed old already when I was 10, so I don't want to say her name. Say her name. Based. Anyway, I'm not going to say the name because I don't want to dox her. Because the people are so evil. These mean, nasty, vindictive people are so evil that they don't let you have your beliefs about basic, normal, right and wrong. Spoiler alert, it says homo from ancient Greek. They've even spoiled that word. When you say it, it just sounds not morally straight. Even the word gay didn't used to mean not morally straight. Did you know that? They've poisoned all the words. You can't even hardly say a word without somebody being, say her address. Say her name, say her address. You can't, they've spoiled the rainbow, Hassan points out. You can't even walk around the street in LA and see two dudes walking together without thinking, oh, I wonder if they're gay. But that didn't used to be like that. You didn't necessarily think like that. That's your poisoned mind thinking that. They may not even be that way. It's kind of like people read all kinds of things into the stuff that people say and do now. Even the Christians, their minds are so poisoned and spoiled that they'll just start assuming and speculating and gossiping and falsely accusing, or even rightly accusing. It's still wrong to be like pushing that stuff out. So sick, huh? They've poisoned the minds of society. Terrible. Anyway, I spent entirely too long on that clip, on that story. Let me tell you briefly about this AAPI muppet. Speaking of spoiling the kids' minds with evil stuff, false diversity propaganda. It's AAPI month, Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Shout out to them. But it's so corny and silly and kiss up stupid. I asked two of my friends. I have one Asian friend, and then there's another Asian person I came across, and I asked them both, they're Chinese, did you know that it's AAPI Heritage Month? Nope, they didn't know. One of them heard something, might have heard something. But look at this. This is the Muppet. Isn't Muppet a bad word in UK? Not real English, British English. Sesame Street welcomes TJ. The show's not Tijuana. The show's not Tijuana. I thought that it was Tijuana, like Aunt Johnny? Aunt Juana? But no, it's Tijuana. But anyway, it's not TJ, it's TJ. The show's first Filipino Muppet, like from the Philippines. And he looks Mexican-Asian, which is what the Filipinos are, right? They're Spaniard and Pacific Islander, whatever. He is the latest addition to the program's diverse cast of new characters. So, new kid on the block. So they're pushing this prop. I feel like I go back and think about some of the Sesame Street stuff, propaganda that was fed to me. My mother let me watch it. I liked Sesame Street. Mr. Rogers was okay, especially the puppets part. Mr. Rogers himself is a little boring for my taste, okay? And I remember there was one time there was this owl in this cartoon little skit. This owl tells this little child bird, hey, I sleep at night. No, I'm awake at night. I sleep during the day. That's weird. And the owl is like, that's not weird. It's just different. And it showed the word different. That reminds me of like now all kinds of weirdos, shout out to the weirdos, are coming out of their closets, their prayer closets, not praying, and most of us are not praying. And so we don't know how to deal with it either. But we know something's wrong. And they're all weird, but now they're saying we're not weird, we're not wrong, we're just different. Diversity. Forget you, Sesame Street. You're evil propaganda on the kids. So anyway. Ugh. So anyway, that's that story. I got to get to a call or two, guys. You can call in 1-888-775-3773. I have some other stories and a funny clip about weight discrimination. A fat activist. She calls herself fat. Shout out to the fat people. But first, Nate in Southern California is on the line. Nate, how are you doing? What's up?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Hey.
I know I stand away from my phone right now. Hold on, let me just go to office. All right, hey.
Is that a Chihuahua?
That's a Bichon. He's vicious, and then I have another one that looks like Sylvester, and he's a dog, but he acts like a cat.
Like Sylvester the cat?
he looks like Sylvester the cat, but he's a dog, and he's very timid and like he'll run away from you. Like he'll come and see what you're doing, but then you give him attention and he runs away. Like you just look at him and he's off.
Nice. I didn't ask all that. I just wanted to know. So, what type of dog did you say was barking just now?
The loud one is a Bichon, and the little one is a Yorkie.
Okay. A Bichon, is that a like a rat
It's
dog?
all white. No, it's an all white dog.
Oh.
It's like a white power dog, like a general would have, like from the army. Like you'd have that white dog, you know, and it looks like white and fluffy.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah.
Are you the alpha in the relationship with your dogs?
Oh man, you see how quiet they got once I started talking on the Hake report?
Oh, okay. Nice. So that's a yes. Right on.
Yeah. We don't got to say yes. It just shows itself. You know what I mean? Like God reveals it.
Okay.
All right. So, Hake, we need to talk about Eric Adams and how useless he is.
How useless is he?
Well, don't disavow because I know you agree with me. How useless is he? Well, here in Fullerton, we have a program called STEPS that keeps people off the streets. When I was in the streets, STEPS came to me and they had a guy. He was kind of a nerdy fat guy, and he never put any pressure on me to do anything. He just gave me dates and said, you know, hey, we'll feed you on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, you can come for groups, and we'll talk to you and open up, and you can open up to us about what's bothering you. So Eric Adams needs to give reparations to his own people by creating a system that does not allow things like the guy in the subway to get choked out by the Marine just trying to keep everybody safe. This is one big hairball of a situation that I just can't stand anymore, and Eric Adams is responsible. The marchers need to go right over to Eric Adams' house, tell him to get out of his fucking house and go... excuse me.
Nate.
Whoa, I'm sorry. I just get it. I get, I get fired up.
Yeah,
about telling Eric Adams that
you're all fired up about his life. Just work on your own life, man. Eric Adams is on the other side of the country.
Yeah, but they say when you clean your room, then you can clean your house. I cleaned my room, I've cleaned my house, and now I'm ready to clean the whole block.
No, you need to clean your mouth.
Oh, okay.
Touche, right? I gotcha.
Touche, you got me.
Do you have a bar of soap that you can put in your mouth?
Yeah, dude, I got soap spray. I'll spray my mouth right now.
No, don't do that. I'm just kidding around.
I got some.
Stop it.
Okay, all right. I'll light a candle and drink the candle wax.
So you're responding.
Go ahead.
You're responding to
Eric Adams. Anytime he opens his mouth, like he needs to get a STEPS program. Sure, Jordan Neely doesn't happen.
I think
Jordan Neely should be in a program.
I think Jordan
Neely should have been in a program, okay? And somebody should have been his care coordinator, a man that would just came over and give him a sandwich. Okay, you shouldn't have had to ask for a sandwich. You shouldn't have had to ask those people for anything.
No,
and if they had, I'd be very pissed off if those people had money in their pockets, like dollar bills they could have gave him. Instead, they choked him out. They could have gave him a dollar bill instead of trying to be heroes.
I gotta go, Nate. Thanks, man. Lord Bibby42 said he's gonna cuss again. I should have hung up. This is mildly entertaining, says Elijah. Too excitable, says Queen Butterfly. Yes, indeed. Nate from Southern California, thanks for your call. I had to hang up on you. He cussed again. You don't get 3 strikes because you're not a new caller. You already know better. And I told you to calm down. But he'll learn. You know, I think he might be part Hispanic. And those people, shout out to the Hispanics, a lot of them don't control their tongue very well. Very well. This is good for your show, Hake. F, says this dramatic Spaniard. Hake, he did that on purpose, speculates Jalen 8, who's on thin ice himself. You're on thin ice, buddy. You got yourself banned from American Anchor Baby, who's on the network with JLP and me and Joel Friday TV. Just to respond, to give fair treatment to Nate, American native. Eric Adams, this is my take on Eric Adams. He's weak. He doesn't really even, I don't think, believe what he's saying about this. Oh, one of our own, he was black. He was my son was named Jordan, just like Jordan Neely, this out of his mind, homeless zombie guy who was a Michael Jackson impersonator who was allegedly threatening people. And he didn't physically attack anybody, according to them, but he threw trash. I think that throwing trash at a passenger is a physical attack, I would say. Isn't that not a physical attack? He's nice, but too amped up, Hake. Yeah, I agree. So I don't think, because at first he was talking about being, let's calm down, let's wait for the investigation. These people, Cortez, are being, and that other city controller, are being irresponsible. It's not even their jurisdiction, and they're calling it murder and lynching and all kinds of dumb, evil, hyperbole propaganda stuff, anti-white nonsense against what some people are calling the Marine hero. And I don't know if he's a hero or not, but it's not the place to do it. New York City is not the place to protect other people. Protect yourself, I guess, yes. But I don't know if he was protecting himself or other people or both or what. But Eric Adams, I think that he faced a bunch of backlash, and this is my pure speculation. I have no idea, right? I have ideas, but I have no truth, right? I have no actual knowledge about this subject. So here's my speculation. This is the spin zone. No spin zone is no speculation, but spin zone is speculation. I think that he caught the backlash from the libs who want to use this to attack the whites and pretend that blacks are such poor, innocent victims. And so he's playing the poor, innocent victim black thing, you know? But he wasn't naturally going to do that. He gets pulled into that. There's a lot of blacks, I will tell you, I've speculated about it and I've heard it confirmed from other blacks that they feel pressure to be like, oh yeah, this racism is so bad. Ooh, it's so bad, it's so tough. And, you know, pretend like they've experienced racism and stuff like that. When most of them, no, they haven't even experienced what they even imagined was racism. Even though they do live in their, like all people live in their imaginations and misinterpret events, a lot of them are just playing it up because just out of fear and intimidation and get along with the group, the black group. They do. It's true. People have called me about it. People have called JLP about it. It's human nature. It's like as if I was going to try to be like playing up, oh yeah, those Jews with the Jew critics, which I don't know much about them, so I'm not going to talk that much about it. You know, things like that. Or play all Christian. Well, I do that with the Christians. I play all Christian for the Christians. I was raised like that. It's my shtick. And also, it keeps the show a little bit cleaner. And it's amusing. Maybe. I don't know how amusing it is. Maybe it's immature and ridiculous. Hake, go to your competitor's website. Learn some stuff. Says Tommy USMC. Tommy, U.S. Marine Corps, United States Marine Corps. He tells me to go to my competitor's website, learn some stuff. You mean Infowars.com? That's my competitor. Is there something about Eric Adams that's going on? Don't give me these ads. I got to read some super chats. I'll read some super chats before I get to the break, okay? Over on rumble.com/The Hake Report, Evil is Still Real gave a few Rumble rants. Then there is the other commandment to forgive others their trespasses so that you may be forgiven yours. So that would be a commandment given with a reason too. And commandments were reduced to 2. Yeah, true. Yeah, the commandments, it was reduced to 2, like the greatest commandment. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your might. And the second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. Nice. Right on. Thank you, Evil is Still Real. You Paul denier. But that's irrelevant to this point. That teacher was way more than mildly attractive to Hake. Hake finds all teachers attractive, then remembers he was homeschooled. What are you trying to imply? I was only homeschooled a couple of years, buddy, and I don't know, whatever. That's irrelevant. Not mildly attractive doesn't mean that anything dirty necessarily. Anyway, thank you. Evil is still real. Yeah, 3rd and 6th grade, I was homeschooled. Evil is still real continues. Homo is a Latin word. I feel bad. I feel like I should be pronouncing it differently rather than homo. Sorry, don't say that, kids. Homo. I don't know. Homo is a Latin word that means man or human. In Greek, it means same. See? 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 The not morally straight people are human. I'm shaking my head. Not that the fact that they are human, but it's just, they're human. DJ on Paw says, take soap from Nate's somewhere and put it in his mouth. Yeah, thank you, DJ on Paw. Jean Paul with a diamond over there on D Live. Shout out to Nate. I had to hang up on you. Don't take it personally. I don't think that he would take it personally. But he did claim that the doctors told him something about his mind. You know, they gave him that bipolar word. That's what he told me on the radio show, so I can say it out loud. But don't believe them, Nate. Keep at it. Get you a job where you're allowed to cuss here and there. Couple from... oh, no, I already read those from Streamlabs. There is one from buymeacoffee.com, hat tip to Nightwave Radio, / the Hake Report. Oh, this one caller, whom I banned yesterday. I didn't announce it, but I banned this one caller. Trying to dox me, dox my family. Hamza closed... Oh, I just said his name. Closed the door of the fridge with his hips, says truck driver with a coffee. Pretty, I disavow just for the sake of not, let sleeping dogs lie. I disavow for the sake of, not the channel, but for the sake of not stirring the wrath of an angry person, you know? Just leave it alone. But thank you, truck driver, for the coffee. Appreciate it. Based America First bought a coffee on Ko-Fi, ko-fi.com / the Hake Report. Remember when Mama Obama threw a temper tantrum over the debt limit and closed the national parks? Vaguely, I remember this. To make taxpayers feel the emotional pain? Yeah, I remember that. Entitlement checks will still be delivered. Oh, yeah, and that's the major expense, is this so-called social spending. That's the well, I don't know. Jay from Arizona told me this years ago. Shared with me or shared on Facebook or somewhere a chart, like a pie chart of the government spending, and it's the budget, and it's like, okay, yeah, the military budget's a pretty big chunk, right? It's like a 20-30% maybe. But the so-called social spending, welfare, so-called social security, I guess, on all these other things, maybe unemployment, all that social program stuff, like 63% or something. I'm showing like the pie chart being like most of it. I don't know if I'm doing it right. Oh, pretend this is a circle, and it's this part of the circle. Huge! If you're watching the video, I did hand signs for like a pie chart. Entitlement checks will still be delivered. Politicians don't like taxpayers to notice that the government can stop spending money, and we don't need them. Yeah, we don't need you for the most part. We don't need you. But they try to make themselves essential. They try to make themselves important. Try to make themselves, get their tentacles, their claws, their hooks into everything. Oh my goodness. I was hearing about how tough it is to have a church to start a church in California. Well, probably have a church too. You got to jump through all these hoops. If you have a children's program, they have to get whoever's looking after the children have to get like background checked, approved, and different things by some government agencies. And who's looking at the government agencies? Sick, and all kinds of crazy different things that you have to jump through. Same thing with businesses. That's how Trump was getting rid of regulations on businesses and making it easier to do business, so that us normal people can start a business and you don't have to jump through a bunch of government lame hoops and expenses and stuff. And the global homo Nazi commie capitalist, trying to think of the right word, commie capitalists, huge corporations, they like for all those things to be in place so that it's harder for startups to start businesses and take away their business from them, compete. It's ridiculous. You should get rid of minimum wage and all those things. Anti-discrimination laws, all these regulations and mess. Yeah, I feel like the environmentalist types, the people who go overboard and don't really know how to even take care of the earth. Some of them do. But that one woman, that teacher woman, by the way, she said the earth is living. She said she was muffled when she talked about taking care of the earth, but she was showing that Disney movie with the gay character about taking care of the earth, and she said it's living. Unlike the souls of the children whose souls you killed. Well, actually, the parents did that. But these teachers are no help. Shameful. Oh, yeah, but my thing about the environmentalists, my conspiracy theory is, like up in Big Bear, they have this lake that they dammed it up and created a lake. It's a man-made lake because they have a dam at the end of it. I'm not cussing. It's a word to block water. Beavers build them and humans build them better. I felt like they let the water go down all low and dry up part of the lake bed to make us feel, oh yeah, this drought. When in reality, they could be building up the reservoirs. They could have been building up the reservoirs, but they don't do it because of this fake environmentalism mess and commie capitalism. Anyway, spoiler alert, bought a coffee. I think the honor your father and mother commandment involves honoring your ancestors and your race. Long life on the land then makes sense, so that other peoples don't displace you. Spoiler alert, man. Interesting. Spoiler alert, always seeing the Bible passages in terms of race in ways that I wouldn't even think. But yeah, I think that's more incidental. I think it kind of goes without saying. It's kind of like the Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights were meant to go without saying. It was kind of controversial to even write down the 10 amendments, the first 10 amendments to the Constitution. The First Amendment, Second Amendment, all those. Because if you write it down, then it can be taken away. But if you don't write it down, it goes without saying. It was the idea. And I think it kind of goes without saying that you should stay with your people, kind of, for the most part. And if you did truly honor your father and mother, you wouldn't be trying to get away from them or attracted to the exotic ones. That's a trauma perversion, to be attracted to the exotic ones. I remember all my POC friends, because I grew up amongst a bunch of POC friends, Asians and Hispanics. They're all wild about these girls from Temple City or Arcadia or somewhere who would come down to El Monte, blonde girls. And to me, they look kind of like plain Janes, but they're all, whoa, white girls, exotic to them. So anyway, terrible, huh? But thank you, spoiler alert. I appreciate it. Evil is still real, says the term used for new regulations, making it harder for new companies to start up, is called barriers to entry. Barriers to entry. Yeah. There are barriers to entry even for a church in California. It's crazy. Anyway, guys, thanks for bearing with me through all those super chats. That was a lot. But I appreciate them, of course. It's AAPI month. That's Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Lame. But this music is not lame. Andy Lau. Lian Xi. Lianxi. Which means practice, I guess. This I know as the SARS song. It came out in 2002 from the album A Better Day. And I hope you enjoy it. You know, SARS affected the Chinese, killed like 800 of them. Only 800. But a lot. That's a lot of people, though. Kind of like the China virus, SARS-CoV-2. The China virus has killed millions. SARS was a big deal. That's when I started noticing all these Asians wearing their masks over their heads, over their faces, nose and mouth. But Andy Lau being emotional, singing this Lian Xi. I'm trying to pronounce it correctly. From 2002, album A Better Day. Hope you enjoy it. I know I do. It's a little bit more modern than those 80s, 90s Jackie Qing and Andy Lau songs. This is more updated, and it's cool. It's nice. It's beautiful. And I have the actual video to play, clip 100. Nice. So hopefully the volume is correct. I'm hoping. China virus is a joke, but SARS was not a joke. It was sad, and here's that sad song. And hope you enjoy it. You musical Philistines, you can cover your ears, you can press mute, you can grin and bear it, or you can go outside and shovel snow or rake your leaves or plant your garden and harvest your crops. Here it is.
如果留下多1秒钟，可以减少明天想你的痛，我会愿意放下所有，交换任何一丝丝可能的占有。幸福只剩一杯沙漏，眼睁睁看着一幕幕甜蜜不会再有，原本平凡无奇的拥有，到现在竟像是无助的奢求。我已开始练习，开始慢慢着急，着急这世界没有你，已经和眼泪说好不哭泣。倒数计时的爱该怎么继续？我天天练习，天天都会熟悉，在没有你的城市里，试着删除每个两人世界里那些曾经共同拥有的一切美好和回忆。只剩一杯沙漏，眼睁睁看着一幕幕甜蜜不会再有，原本平凡无奇的拥有，到现在竟像是无助的奢求。我已开始练习，开始慢慢着急，着急这世界没有你，已经和眼泪说好不哭泣，难道倒数计时的爱该怎么继续？我天天练习，天天都会熟悉，在没有你的城市里，试着删除每个两人世界里那些曾经共同拥有的一切美好和回忆。
I prefer not to know what they're saying. I know.
迷了路的却是我和你，是说好 一起闯出去，怎么剩我一人回去？我已开始练习，开始慢慢着急，着急这世界没有你，已经和眼泪说好不哭泣。倒数计时的爱该怎么继续？我天天练习，天天都会熟悉，在没有你的城市里。
That was the style in the early 2000s. Yeah. Happy Lian
Month. 曾经共同拥有的一切美好和回忆。
Mr. Sandman playing the piano.
那些曾经共同拥有的一切美好和回忆。
So good. Man. Hake, I don't like this Chinese music. You know they're behind all the woke stuff, right? It says Trump 2024. No! That's the Jews. Just kidding. You're right. China's behind it too. They have a double standard on TikTok. TikTok for America, not like TikTok for China. Shout out to Andy Lau. Andy Lau is not for that woke stuff, is he? He's dressed like Belloc from Raiders of the Lost Ark. Indiana Jones, says Rome 13. Yeah, I know. True. Why are we listening to this? Asks Latina in Cali. Because I love this song. I want to share it with you. I want to share my life with my audience. So good. Hake listens to this while staring at a yearbook picture. No, not true. I listen to it in the car. He's cussing in Spanish, you know. Says, oh yeah, true. Chinese simping. Hake has the most random playlist. Oh my gosh, random. He's Chester Bennington right now. Chester Bennington committed suicide. Is it Canto Pop or Mando Pop? Well, he was one of the 4 kings of Canto Pop because he's from Hong Kong, but I think he was singing in Mandarin there. Yesterday, the song to the mother was in... Why are you showing this guy? Hassan was showing the AAPI guy. The AAPI muppet. Filipino. Cracking me up. He kind of looked like Andy Lau, except more Mexican. Because Filipinos are like the Mexican of the Asians. Because they're, very Indian, so they're dark brown. By Indian, I mean the Filipino Indian. And then they're also Spanish, because the Spanish went up to the Philippines, right? So anyway. Yeah, that one was the one to the mother by Beyond. That was where he's like, I really love you. And he died. He fell off the stage. Or he went beyond the stage, or the stage collapsed. That was in Cantonese. I could tell. That was Canto Pop. So anyway, thank you guys for bearing with me through the beautiful music. In your opinion, I may be using the term beautiful loosely, but in my opinion, I think it's really nice. I think it's beautiful. And yeah, you're right. It is nice not to know what they're saying, even though I'm putting the lyrics on the screen for you guys. It's a little off time. The next song that I played by Andy is going to be a little off time. Let me get to Trick in Montana on the line. Trick, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Mr. Hake. How you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you. What good are you doing in the world?
Right now I'm sweeping the floor of my koon. Do you know what a koon is?
Cone?
Koon, K-W-O-O-N. It's a kung fu temple, and I'm sweeping the floor.
Whoa! Talk about cultural appropriation, and you're white.
I know, and I'm guilt-free about it because I wear a guilt-free. You know why I'm guilt-free? You want to know why?
Guilt-free? I thought you said joke-free. Guilt-free.
No, I'm guilt-free, and you want to know why?
Guilt-free?
Guilt? Yeah, I'm guilt-free.
Okay.
I have no guilt. And I'll tell you why if you want to. If you want to know.
Go for it. Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Well, it's not even white. It's for all people. But I have a guilt-free loincloth that was designed for me by low IQ veteran buddies. So we wear it around fires and we don't do any guilt. It's a guilt-free loincloth. And it's an actual item, by the way.
That's military stuff, right? It's military stuff.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, it's crazy veterans, but yeah, we all got guilt-free loincloths and we light fires and we hunt and fish and we cook fish over the fire with our guilt-free loincloth.
Well, you could leave out the loin part of the cloth thing because that's TMI.
What does that mean?
Do you really have a kwoon?
Yeah, I have a kung fu
that's like a dojo?
temple in the mountains of Montana.
Okay.
Yeah, place where we train.
For a second, I thought you might be mocking me because I'm playing Chinese music. So I thought you were just pretending like you were actually living in
I didn't know that.
Asian place. Oh, you didn't hear the Chinese music just now?
Yeah, I love Chinese. I love Chinese music.
Oh, man. You're embarrassing me.
Yeah, I do. Butterfly Lovers. Great stuff. I love the erhu. The erhu is an instrument. Yeah, I love Asian music. I sure do. But I like other music
too. Do you like
Andy
Lau? Do you like Andy Lau?
Andy Lau.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've heard that artist. Maybe I haven't.
He's Mr. China himself.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not cool. Traditional music. It's pop music mostly. But anyway.
Yeah, see, I'm not huge into pop culture, but the people I work with a Thai Chinese family, and they're into all the pop culture, so they try to educate me. But it's hard because I like traditional stuff.
Yeah. And you're white.
I'm a Visigoth.
Irish? Oh, Visigoth. You're a...
Yeah. There's Irish. I'm Heinz 57. I have a lot of different ethnic. Russian, Irish, Visigoth. There's probably some Berber in there because my ancestry went all through North Africa and Spain. So I'm
Visigoth,
a mix.
Visigoth, is that like those people who are those Nordic people who are Vikings? Is it a Viking thing?
Yeah, they were a traveling tribe, and they were up there, but they were also in North Africa with the Vandals.
Okay.
So they kind of were all with the Roman Empire, and they were up north, though, too. That is true.
Okay. You called in about something else, though.
I did call in. I never call on Mondays or Fridays because I like listening to the calls. And you were talking to this guy on Friday. And you guys were talking about some guy, some 77-year-old white man who was attacked by some young guy. I think it was a young black guy.
Yeah.
Well, I know it was. It was a young black guy. And you were talking to this guy, and he was trying to defend. I guess he used an ugly word, right? He used the N-word. So
yeah, the 77-year-old man.
So, anyway,
and I showed a picture of the 77-year-old man who died now. Rest in peace to the guy. But and he looks like he used it. I'm like, we don't know that he used it, but he looks like he used it. It's just he looks like the kind of guy who would speak his mind. Can you dig up the picture from yesterday? Sure. Oh, I'll pull it into the folder because I don't know where. You might not be able to find it. I think I deleted it. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I found a couple things interesting about your conversation with this fella. And you made a point as he was trying to explain, and he really was a bit of a self-nullifying contradiction because you said, that's not logical. And he couldn't catch that because his emotion and feeling, and I thought to myself, he is being illogical. That's obvious, but it wasn't that he was just being illogical. It's that he was just lying. He just illogical. You said you're being illogical, and he was being illogical.
Yeah.
And if I can recall, the point was, well, do you think that's wrong? And then you got him to say, he had maybe a glimpse of conscience, and he said, yes, it's wrong. And then he says, no, this guy should have done it if he said the word. And then you said, that's not logical, which it isn't.
Right.
And but I don't think that was the issue. I don't think a lot of these people across the spectrum, I'm not saying just blacks, understand that they're actually just liars. he was just lying. I don't think he even really believed when he said that to you. I think that he's just a liar. I mean, he just really believes that if the 77-year-old dropped the N-word on this dude, that he has a right to knock the hell out of him.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I just think a lot of these guys, a lot of time that you're talking to, is not that they're just illogical, which it's easy to prove that. I just think they're so caught up in feeling and emotion that they're lying. Yeah, I just think the guy was now. He doesn't even know he's lying, right? He just is. He's, a lot of liars don't know they're liars, but they're liars, right?
Yeah.
But I thought that was interesting to listen to, and then I don't know if it was I think it was the show Friday, but in past shows, I've heard you talk about. Oh no, it was Friday because you were talking about Farrakhan meeting with the KKK guys. And they're talking about, we agree to go our separate ways, right?
It wasn't necessarily Farrakhan. Was it Farrakhan or was it?
Well, it was the Nation of Islam.
Okay, maybe it might have been pre-Farrakhan, before Farrakhan was in charge.
Could be. And I lived in Chicago, so I used to talk to I lived on the South Side and talked to those fellas all the time. We had great conversations. And we had peace, we'd talk about life, and I get my essential oils from this guy. He was one of
Black or KKK.
Yeah, he was one of Farrakhan's guys.
Okay. Yeah.
No, I do think you were talking about Malcolm X. Excuse me, you were talking about Malcolm X.
Yeah, I feel like Malcolm X or Elijah Muhammad may have been the ones.
Yeah.
Not that Malcolm X was really in charge, but was he in charge? I don't think that he ever really was. He was like second in command. Maybe I'm wrong.
I think so too. Well, there's a point I wanted to make about this, because I used to have these conversations with these fellas, and they were healthy and honest.
Yeah.
And they knew I was working for a former Tuskegee Airman. So my boss was an older black dude.
Okay.
And so they knew that, and they're like, okay, we like talking to this guy. He has interesting questions. And so we used to talk about, I used to say, well, guys, I don't think the issue is about integration and segregation. And they'd say, what do you think the issue is? I say, I think the issue is, and it's a constitutional principle, is freedom of association.
Yeah.
I said, I think that's the deeper principle. Organically, a lot of times things work out in life if there's not some social engineer shoving something down your throat, right? Keeping it real. But I think the issue, when you look at this issue of integration and segregation and all these issues, is the issue of freedom of association. Yeah. Whether I live in a multicultural community or whether I live in an all-white or all-Chinese, that's my choice, right?
Yeah.
And I think that principle has to be really understood.
Yeah.
You can't force, unless you got some draconian government,
which we kind of have.
Force people, which seems like it's leaning that way.
Yep.
But and it happens in history. If we know history, this kind of stuff happens. So there's some a priori social plan that's going to make a utopia, and it makes a disaster. But I think that's the point when you talk to people about integration and segregation, and then these guys would ask me questions like, well, what do you think about if a guy has a woman from another race? And I said, well, I think I can answer that simply. If a woman falls in love with another dude and vice versa, that woman is then in that tribe. She's part of that then. She's in that, you know what I mean? And she's made a decision, and that's all fine. There's probably even something beneficial about that when you look at genetic variety. But I don't think it takes away from the fundamental identity of that tribe. I just think, it adds something. So they used to think, yeah, that's interesting. You sound like a tribal chieftain, which I look at as a compliment. I said, yeah, I guess I am.
I zoned out. But, I zoned out at the point where you were talking about interracial marriage. What did you say about interracial marriage?
Well, these guys would ask me questions because I had a lot of conversations with a black female friend of mine who was kind of a maze of my life. And
she was amazed. She
really
was amazed.
Smart. Yeah, she was like
at your life.
Yeah, you have the maze. I had this woman.
Oh, okay.
And
she was a nutty kind of lady who was pushing about, oh, you got to watch yourself, but it's questionable whether she's watching herself.
Well, yeah, that's right. But this gal she was a Northwestern grad. She was super smart. She actually went to Jeremiah Wright's church. And
oh, wow.
She was a Dem. She was a hardcore Dem. But we were buddies.
Democrat.
And I called her, I used to call her Queen Candid. You know Queen Candace in the Bible? I called her Queen Candid. Because her and I would just have honest talks. So we talked a lot about interracial and miscegenation, just honestly.
Yeah.
And I said, when a guy and a gal from two different races marry or get together, that woman then is part of that tribe. And she goes, yeah, that's interesting. And I said, because I don't know if you've ever noticed, guys can hate dudes from another race but love their women. I always think that's funny, actually.
Right.
I think it's hilarious. I think the hypocrisy is just hilarious.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Mexicans that I knew, that I grew up with, they started going to clubs and stuff. Clubs, so degenerate. Yeah. And they would like the Armenian girls. They were really pretty, but the Armenian guys do not like that interracial stuff. So the Armenian guys were thought of as mean and racist or something like that. But they were just being their normal traditional selves who didn't like this interracial stuff.
Well, there's something that seems like it's part of the human makeup that tries to protect, ethnic identity. I don't think that's unhealthy, but my view on that is that if a woman decides that's what she's going to do, then she's in that tribe. She's part of that, right? And so these brothers from the nation would say, you sound like a tribal chieftain. And I said, well, I just think, what are you going to do? I mean, if a woman likes a guy and a guy likes a woman, they're going to hook up. I mean, that's just, that's all over the Old Testament. And you got me reading Leviticus, and I'm seeing it everywhere in the Old Testament. If the Almighty can't control bulls jumping fences, how can, no one's going to, right?
I know. Maybe spoiler alert is right about the honor your father and mother thing. I'm not sure. But it's interesting. Yeah. You're right. I interrupted you when you were talking about you can't make people come together, get along, not want to discriminate, love you. It's like JLP says, you can't force people to love you. And that's what the Democrats, that's what the gays, the women, the blacks, the POCs, the illegals, they're trying to force people to love them. And anti-discrimination laws are wrong. It only breeds more resentment and hatred.
Do you know what I think the bigger issue is on all this? Do you know what I really think the bigger issue is on all of this? If you look at like anthropological records of like natives, different tribes were killing each other. Yeah. It wasn't Dances with Wolves.
I never saw that whole movie. I only saw that toward the end of it. Dances with Wolves made it sound like they were all a peaceful people, and the Americans were bad. But Kevin Costner's a liberal, huh? Kevin Costner.
Yes. Yeah, he's a lib.
I saw him in. I saw multiple times. Well, don't forget your point. But I saw multiple times Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, and I liked it as a kid.
Love that movie.
But
I loved it.
But I found out like later, I watched it more recently, and it's all like liberal values. This Muslim, black, Moorish Muslim guy,
Morgan Freeman.
And there's rob from the rich and give to the poor. It's a bunch of liberal values. But anyway,
it is.
So you're saying that the Indian tribes, they fought amongst each other. They were killing each other,
butchering each other.
Yeah.
And same thing in Africa and Europe.
Yeah.
My point on all this is I think the issue is more just narcissism. It's just because if you remove the races from each other, it happened in China. The tribes were killing the hell out of each other.
China was not united. They were tribal, right? Yeah, interesting.
Never. Well, they were because there's a ton of ethnic diversity in China. Most people don't understand. There's tons of diversity in China.
Yeah.
As far as ethnic nuance,
Right.
So, it's like Germans and French and English killing each other, whatever. So if you separate biracial distinction. There was a study once where they did people from some race, and they put blue shirts on one and red on the other, and they start doing the same thing.
Right.
So the issue is really narcissism. It's really that I can't get outside of myself at all, and I'm a narcissist, and then I find a reason to hate. And, that's basically the way I look at it now.
Yeah.
But sometimes it seems like integration doesn't help that because it puts things that are more kind of obvious on the surface.
And it feeds, and these anti-discrimination laws encourage people to think in those ways and be suspicious of whites, especially. It's like this it's very anti-white, anti-human, anti-love. Everybody's hating one another, and they're pulling everybody into it. So it's it's a terrible shame. Just a correction from spoiler alert. That somewhat famous Nation of Islam meeting was not with the Klan, but with the American Nazi Party, which is George Lincoln Rockwell. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And he was according to one of my old callers, whom I ended up banning. George Lincoln Rockwell used the Nazi thing not because he was necessarily into the Germans and all that stuff or whatever they were doing, but because it was controversial and it caught buzz and it got him free press, because the press loves to react to the Nazi stuff. And so one wonders if I wonder if that was wise of George Lincoln Rockwell to do that. But I don't know. I don't know much about him. He seemed, I couldn't tell you about George Lincoln Rockwell, but.
Is he kind of a Bircher? Is he kind of a John Birch type of dude? I have to look at him. I think I've read about his name, but I've never studied it.
I don't know much about John Birch Society, nor the American Nazi Party, nor even George Lincoln Rockwell, but I think he may have been more extreme than the Birchers, because the Birchers are not openly racist, right? And he was openly pro-white. No. And he wasn't necessarily racist, I don't think. But he was, he was very much for the whites. And he attracted some angry guys, like everybody does. Every group does. And he was murdered by someone who was his friend, if I remember right.
Yeah, probably. I've done a lot of political study, and I've read about him, but I haven't done the deep dive.
Yeah.
I probably need to. Just because the Nazi thing is fascinating, how they appropriate the swastika.
Right.
But Hitler appropriated the swastika.
Right.
And so there's probably other elements of Nazism that the swastika doesn't even represent that well. And I'm not going to give my opinions on that today. I'm still kind of studying some stuff on European history. But, you're right about what you're saying. These kind of artificial dictates on discrimination laws and all of these things is creating the problem. And it's making people
it's
focus
exacerbating the problem of evil in the hearts of everybody. Yeah.
I love when you use big words.
We've always had evil in us and among us, but this one is exploiting that evil and encouraging that evil rather than while pretending to be anti-hate. All this stuff, all this anti-racism stuff, it's pretending to be anti-hate. Oh, we're fighting hate for good, is what the ADL says. But they're promoting hatred. There's just mama hatred, mama evil, soft evil.
Do you know what? Yeah, it is. A lot of it is actually mama evil.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that, but you know what? The low IQ vets are saying to me, they're not hating, they're haking. I got a bunch of people listening to you now.
That's funny, right?
They're
I
haking.
appreciate that.
Yeah, haking. Haking,
cool.
which, by the way, is a type of loving. Just so you know, haking is a type of loving.
Right on.
That's that's what we're doing here in Montana. Anyways, that's what I wanted to start off about.
Great call, man. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you for taking the call, and we'll talk again soon.
Oh, just side note, since I have you on, Big Bump says John Birch Society were libertarians. George Lincoln Rockwell was nothing like the Birch people. The Birch people they were more like libertarians.
That's good.
Yeah. So anyway.
I can see that. That's a good clarification. I appreciate it. Excellent.
Yeah. Thank you, man.
All right.
Take care.
All right, later.
Bye. Trick in Montana. Great call. Oh, I forgot to tell him, by the way, guys, quick side note, that Joel Friday TV is coming up in about a half an hour, I think. I'm pretty sure. Joel Friday TV on YouTube and American Anchor Baby after that. So Joel Friday TV on Tuesdays, 11 a.m. Pacific time, 1 Central, 2 Eastern. I think those guys are working on getting their podcast together so you can audio podcast it after the show. They're working on it. They'll let you know. American Anchor Baby, Monday through Thursday at least, and then on Fridays he tends to do the 4 p.m. show. But Monday through Thursday, noon Pacific time, noon till 1:30, 1:45. I don't know if he's gone to 2 p.m. yet, but he's has a loosey-goosey thing. Nice. So that's youtube.com/@AmericanAnchorBaby. And of course, just a reminder, ladies, I know some ladies listen to Hake. Many ladies. Lovely ladies. Listen to Hake. So remember, the Women's Forum. 3rd Thursday of the month. That's this Thursday. Not tonight, not tomorrow night, but the following night. Thursday night, May 18th, 2023 AD, 7 p.m. at Bond in Los Angeles. They are a highlight. The men's forums are a highlight of the month for the men, the males. And the women's forums are always excellent, I hear. No males allowed in the women's forums, except for JLP, who runs them, okay? So let me tell you, speaking of the mamas and the demon rats, abortion, mama demon rats are for killing the babies. This is a headline over the weekend that I think it was over the weekend. North Carolina abortion governor. What happened to North Carolina? A beautiful South. Who's the governor? Roy Cooper. Psh, I get these guys confused. Roy Cooper, a liberal. 65-year-old male Democrat. Embarrassing. Roy Asbury Cooper. American attorney and politician. 75th governor of North Carolina in the beautiful South since 2017. Member of the Demon Rat Party. He vetoed a bill by the Republican legislature that would have banned nearly all abortions after 12 weeks of pregnancy. I have a picture of him. NC Abortion Gov. Psh, shame on you. Shame on you. Who is this guy? Where's early life check on him? Born in Nashville, North Carolina. Beverly Batchelor and Roy Asbury Cooper II. Why does his mother not have the father's last name? It's the 50s. What in the world? Worked on his parents' tobacco farm during the summer in high school, or something like that. It doesn't say much about him. Oh, he got a JD, a Juris Doctorate. Psh, you know he's corrupt. University of North Carolina School of Law. All lawyers/liars get corrupted in their school, and then they have to overcome that corruption. I'm just going to say that. There's some really decent lawyers who are not so much of liars, okay? Unless you just say, let God be true and every man a liar. But there are some legitimate, decent lawyers. Not all lawyers are liars. Or maybe they are, but there's some decent lawyer liars. You know, the one spoke in front of the Supreme Court and took out the phony Roe v. Wade decision for killing the unborn babies, pretending that's a right to privacy or something dumb like that. So anyway, he's a lawyer, a JD. He was a member of the Young Democrats. President of the university's Young Democrats is an undergraduate of University of North Carolina. Psh, Roy Cooper. Lame. What else are the Democrats for? Oh, meanwhile, up in the north, even worse. I don't know if this is worse. They're banning weight discrimination. Let me see. Weight discrimination. NYC, New York City. Get a rope. This stuff's made in New York City. New York City? That really chaps my hide. Yeah, and they have a picture of this fat gal. It's kind of vulgar. It's kind of vulgar. Shout out to the fat people. But this is like vulgarly fat. Like morbidly obese. And shout out to the fat people. New York City passes a bill banning weight discrimination. So then they're just going to be like, oh, just because I'm fat, you're doing this. You know, like the Blacks Act? I should pull out this recording that I have. I got this recording. Hassan says my 600-pound life, or 600-pound wife. No, I'm kidding. Oh yeah, I had this recording of this guy, black guy. He was the only black, not the only. He might have been the only black guy. Room full of Mexicans and like some whites, maybe an Asian, maybe. And he's being a problem. And they try to kick him out or whatever. He's like, it's because I'm black, huh? No, it's because your attitude's that black attitude, that crazy attitude, dark, evil spirit attitude. But he literally says that. And I'm just thinking, I didn't say it. Man. You're the one giving the blacks a bad name. And she's giving the fats the bad name. Well, and also their faces and bodies do that too. No, some of them are nice. They make up for they're wearing a problem and then they make up for it by being overly nice and funny and bubbly. So this headline was over the weekend or last week. I think it was last week. This fat activist, Victoria Abraham. Let me play clip 12 while I'm here. NYC set to ban height and weight discrimination. According to Big Bump says she's mildly living. Yeah, I know. I was going to mention mildly attractive. You know, she has makeup on. And it's well done makeup. You know, because some people wear makeup and it's like garish. Like they shouldn't be wearing it. And, you know, she's wearing like this black dress. Black is slimming. You should wear black. Black is slimming. I'm looking at the picture of her. And, you know, jewelry, cute glasses, nice hair. She does her hair. But anyway, yeah, it's not good. It's not good. This is from Eyewitness News, ABC7NY. 4 days ago, here's the 2-minute report from clip 12. And it's funny, they have this reporter woman who's not fat, mildly attractive, given the intro report. Here it is. Enjoy.
Another fight for equality across the board. New York City taking steps to ban discrimination based on someone's weight or height. Eyewitness News reporter Darla Miles has the story.
I prefer fat. I think that using that, it takes away any of the negative connotation.
Embracing the word fat. That's what Victoria Abraham does on her social media accounts using the handle FatFabFeminist. The 22-year-old has the attention of more than 120,000 followers.
In most places in the United States, you can get fired for being fat and have no protection at all, which is crazy because this is a very fat country.
But she's also an NYU graduate with a degree in public policy. And she's been front and center testifying before the city council in support of new legislation that would prohibit discrimination on the basis of a person's height or weight in employment, housing, and public accommodations.
This law is designed to help those where weight has nothing to do with the essential job functions of a role.
The bill, introduced by City Council member Sean Abreu, partnered with organizations including the National Association to Advance Fat Acceptance to get it passed.
Just like any other protected category, like race or gender or your age, this would be a new protected category and a claim that you can bring before the Commission on Human Rights.
And the passage of the bill Thursday means New York now joins 4 other cities with weight discrimination laws on the books, and Michigan and Washington State.
Are there gaps in this bill? For sure. But I think this is a perfect first step.
Darla Miles, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
Don't you like her smile and attitude, kind of? At least her attitude in front of the camera. I don't know what her attitude is like. You know, everybody's got their ugly side. And it may be a big ugly side. But we shouldn't have a commission on human rights. The commission, that's a communist buzzword, human rights. Slam-free poetry. I'm not going to read that out loud because people might know what you mean if I read that. But that's funny. She's only 22 years old. And she talks like a 22-year-old. Honestly, we're a very fat country. And that's true. We're a very fat country. The solution, though, is to get less. Stop being fat. Or, you know, get healthy. Get active, you know. I get that they did stuff maybe to the water or to the food and different things. And they, you know, were spoiled, very spoiled times, very sedimentary life. Who commented? I overheard or somebody told me or something, somewhere. Somehow. Somebody was talking about how big college graduates are. Like, that's what she is, 22 years old. 22, people graduate college at 22 if they graduate in 4 years, right? She ate a 22-year-old. Looks like a couple of them, or 3. But you have to eat more than that, more than 3, because it doesn't mean that you don't wear all that weight just by eating a couple of, or 2 or 3 22-year-olds, I would think. Sedentary, not sedimentary. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Beta Legs. I knew that was wrong. That's why I paused. And I've been saying that multiple times. Sedentary life. Thank you, man. I was thinking about you, Beta Legs. I won't go further, but I was thinking about you. Maybe we'll comment on it later. We don't need a commission on human rights. The Commission on Human Rights is what's going after the Christians, the Christian bakers, like in Colorado. Colorado is so liberal. They have a LGBTIQ plus 2SL governor. What happened to Colorado? Used to be a red state, right? I'm shaking my head. Yeah, and elsewhere, too. They're going after them because they won't do a so-called same-sex marriage cake. A gay cake. Bake a gay cake. And there's other places that go after you. They team up. They collude with the radical activists. And this fat activist, although she seems very sweet, lovely lady. I like how Trump called who did he call a lovely lady? He said the mayor of Washington, D.C. Lovely lady. Something like that. Yeah, it was the mayor of D.C. He said, lovely lady, on his CNN town hall last week. I heard it on American Anchor Baby's special stream before it got cut off, before his computer crashed and his airplane crashed. Virtual airplane, not a real airplane. Isn't that nice? Trump spreading goodwill, and they hate him. He's spreading goodwill, calling a lady, when we use the term loosely on that lady, a female black mayor of Washington, D.C., he called her a lovely lady. Isn't that gracious? So I thought that was be amusing to share with you. I have to keep moving because we have Joelle Friday TV coming up, and I got to stay on time. I don't like going overtime anyway. Let me tell you this story. Brittney Griner. I got this from Big Bump. Hat tip to Big Bump. And I actually saw it myself, too, but this was laid out nicely in an Instagram post by some guy named Today with Julius. How it started versus how it's going. So Brittney Griner, I slipped and referred to her as a queen. It was not a Freudian slip. Freud was probably not even a Christian, so I don't believe in him. But, you know, she's black, tall, relatively young, divorced and remarried, but it's not a real divorce because it was never a real marriage. And the new remarriage is not even a real marriage because it's a lesbian, sorry, kids, ladies, gentlemen, relationship. Oh, yeah, and she and her quote-unquote ex both got arrested for DV. They were domestically violent against each other. Lesbians are notorious for that. Statistically speaking, of course. So here's the Brittney Griner Brittney Griner National Anthem folder there, Hassan. Brittney Griner 1, this is from 2020, July, a couple months after Georgia-Florida mess, right? The summer of love, right? Summer of black hatred towards whites and cops, and black hatred meaning the black-hearted Antifa, too, and blacks. And liberals, and even the everybody. WNBA players call on the league, women's NBA, their affirmative action NBA, right? Calls on the league to stop playing national anthem before games. Don't you have to be in the black before you can start making demands? Don't you have to be making money for the league? Aren't they? Do they not operate at a loss? Maybe I'm making that up. The Star-Spangled Banner was first played at a sporting event in Brooklyn, New York on May 15th, 1862. Wow. It's a Fox News article, Faux News, by Ryan Gaydos. And so going on over to part two of this Brittney Griner little IG post. These are screenshots of this article. Here's a quote from Brittney Griner. A 6-time WNBA All-Star, 2019 runner-up MVP. So she was not the most valuable player, in other words. I honestly feel like we should not... Does she have a deep voice? I honestly feel like we should not play the national anthem during our season. That's what Brittney Griner said. Misguided Black Lives Matter agitating, liberal, useful idiot. I think we should take that much of a stand. I don't mean that in any disrespect to our country. My dad was in Vietnam and a law officer for 30 years. I'm trying to use her voice. I wanted to be a cop before basketball. I do have pride for my country. No, I don't know how she sounds. I vaguely remember hearing her voice lower, and I'm making it more sound like Zelensky, Volodymyr Zelensky. Like Oscar the Grouch or worse. Phoenix Mercury star, like there isn't any stars in the WNBA. Well, just because I don't know about it doesn't mean that they're not stars, right? You sports people who know sports. Is she a star? Her teammate Breonna Turner both made comments Monday about why the WNBA, the sports altogether, should stop blaring the Star-Spangled Banner before games. Well, fast forward, that was 2020 during the Black Lives Matter agitation things. Well, fast forward to today, she went to Russia last year loaded up with drugs, as Trump said. And Russia does not like drugs. They don't play that. They don't play with drugs like America lets people have their drugs. China will execute any drug dealer. Summary execution. Well, fast forward to today, she got let out of prison, Russian prison. The real American guy, the real American hero is still rotting away in that Russian prison. Isn't he not? Or is he? That other guy? And she got out because Sleepy Joe's and the Obama administration all over again, and the liberals were like, oh, free Brittney. Brittney Griner now says, as of May 14th, 2023, or May 13th, the national anthem hit different. That's a black way of saying it, right? Is that black? I think that's black. But she's black, mixed anyway. On her return to the court after release from a Russian penal colony, despite previously protesting for it not to be played during WNBA games. Well, that's nice. Doesn't that make you feel nice towards Brittney Griner? Now she loves her country again. And it's hitting different because she got brought back after spending all those months. Never mind that the real American hero has spent years over there. Terrible. Oh, and by the way, the comments are so nasty. Somebody said, she can kick rocks. Some blue check on IG. Should have left her in Russia, says Rebecca somebody. And a whole Holly Roller IG says the pictures are out of order. You should have started with her now that her opinion has changed. Yeah, good point. Yeah, because people see that one and don't scroll, and they have ill will towards her. But anyway, I think that they're in chronological order, but I understand Holy Roller. Oh, it's Holy Roller, not Holly Roller. Holy Roller IG. I understand his point. It's funny, though. The people are so nasty and mean. Just because she hates America doesn't mean we hate her, right? We don't hate. We hake. Hake so out of pocket. Out of pocket means out of pocket expenses. It doesn't mean out of hand control. You blacks changing the language. But they win. They get their way. It's terrible. So we wish Brittney Griner well, don't we? Yes. Oh, I gotta say this. I gotta tell you my name, since I only have like 3 minutes left of the show before I have to play Andy Lau and hand it over to Joel Friday TV. Anton. I mean, it's not Anton. I said my middle name is Anton. Oh, darn. Are you able to rotate it? Darn. I don't know if you're able to rotate it. Darn. Well, that was Anton. Anton. It's James Anton Hake. Anton. It's not Anton. It's not Anton. Anton is acceptable, I guess. It's Anton. James Anton. Oh, Lord. That's creative. Nick, the anchor baby, gonna come in and save us. Are you able to lean it forwards now? Doesn't he look so dignified? Imagine if Hake were to dress like that. He'd have millions of followers. Oh, nice. Thank you, man. Look how dignified Anton is. Doesn't that look kind of like Hake? Anton? James Anton Hake? No, that's Anton. He's my grandma's dad. Father, I guess. Look at his chain and his suit. Oh, fancy. Not fancy, but dressed appropriately, dignified. That's nice. So it's Anton. James Anton Hake. A-N' is how he pronounced it. I think it was his maiden, not maiden. Men don't have maiden names. I think it was his middle name, too. They didn't even know his first name until he died. But anyway, yeah, he died before I was born. He was my great-grandpa. So that's my namesake. I was not named after some black, okay? I was named after a Danish. He was Danish. The whole rest of my family, American, okay? But yeah, I got some Danish ancestors. Right on. Anyway, guys, this has been the Hake Report. I got to play Andy Lau. Rick in Hampton, Virginia wanted to talk about Biden's college speech. Call me back tomorrow, man. We got to switch over to Joel Friday TV. But first, we got to play clip 100, which is Wang. Let's see. Wang Xing Shui. Wang Xing Shui, which means forget love water or forget love potion. And it's Andy Lau being a simp. Can't forget it. Here it is. And adios, America. Bye.
年少爱追梦，一生只想往前飞，行遍千山和万水，一路走来不能回。蓦然回首近已远，身不由己在天边，才明白爱恨情仇，最伤最痛是后悔。如果你不曾心碎，你不会懂得我伤悲。当我眼中有泪，别问我是为谁，就让我忘了这一切。给我一杯忘情水，换我一夜不流泪。所有真心真意，任它雨打风吹，付出的爱收不回。给我一杯忘情水，换我一生不伤悲。就算我会喝醉，就算我会心碎，不会看见我流泪。曾经年少爱追梦，一生只想往前飞，行遍千山和万水，一路走来不能回。蓦然回首近已远，身不由己在天边，才明白爱恨情仇，最伤最痛是后悔。如果你不曾心碎，你不会懂得我伤悲。当我眼中有泪，别问我是为谁，就让我忘了这一切。给我一杯忘情水，换我一夜不流泪。所有真心真意，任它雨打风吹，付出的爱收不回。给我一杯忘情水，换我一生不伤悲。就算我会喝醉，就算我会心碎，不会看见我流泪。给我一杯忘情水，换我一夜不流泪。所有真心真意，任它雨打风吹，付出的爱收不回。给我一杯忘情水，换我一生不伤悲。就算我会喝醉，就算我会心碎，不会看见我流泪。